Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today is hopefully Friday the 13th. And as fans of the show know, Friday the 13th is probably the big day for Let's Talk Spoop, because I always try to do something special that is Friday the 13th related. Last Friday the 13th, I did Don't Hike Alone, Ghost Cut. Before that, I did my Friday the 13th tier video. So today, we are hitting something that I was hoping would essentially be the epitome of Friday the 13th. The epitome of Friday the 13th, which is 13 Fanboy, which is described as a fan of Friday the 13th starts killing people. I watched it on Tubi, so how was it? Well, as per usual on Let's Talk Spoop, God, I'm flustered. I just worked out right before this. I know, looking at me, you probably don't believe that I work out. It's not often, but I'm working on it. New Year's resolution. Wish me luck. As per usual on Let's Talk Spoop, we break things down into 6 separate categories. Those 6 separate categories are acting, story, music, look, atmosphere, and finally creep. And that is not the right order. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into 13 Fanboy on Tubi. So, story, we get a voiceover about a creepy stalker, and we find that this voice is coming from Dee Wallace, who is a famous horror movie actress. She's in a ton of horror movies, but not any Friday the 13th movie, which is kind of odd. We get credits, and then we go to Deborah Voorhees, who is an actress that was in Friday the 13th Part 5. Voorhees is, in fact, her name, which is just kind of a cool coincidence. And it's the actress Deborah Voorhees playing herself, and she gets moited by our killer. In front of her granddaughter, Kelsey, her granddaughter, who is not actually her granddaughter in real life. This is an actress. So one of the few main characters in this movie that is not them playing themselves. Cool. While the stalker is stalking to kill Deborah, he keeps calling her Tina, which I'm fairly certain was her character's name in Friday the 13th Part 5. She gets murked, and then we get a transition to Kelsey as an adult now, who is in amazing shape, teaching martial arts. We find out this is 13 years later, and then what to me was hilarious, her boyfriend sneaks up to her, kind of in the way they film it is like the classic horror movie sneak up, slasher film sneak up, right? So he sneaks up on her while she's taking a shower, and she elbows him right in the face, and it's hilarious. And then stalker, we find out the stalker is watching her in her home from a not very well secure, hidden secret camera. It's literally out in the open, but it's right there, and it's filming them, and he's watching them get it on. And again, and just like in Jolly Roger, this camera has amazing capabilities. It can zoom, it can move around. It's fantastic. Hidden camera. So then we go to Monster Palooza, which is some sort of horror convention. Then we get a Corey Feldman cameo. Corey Feldman was in Friday the 13th for the final chapter, which people who have seen Friday the 13th know. Not actually the final chapter. But Corey Feldman played Tommy in the original Part 4. He was the first Tommy. There were 3 actors that played Tommy. He was the first one. He cameos as a creepy producer who's producing a movie that Kelsey is a star of. And then we get some stalking, and she once again hits her boyfriend in the face. She does it a couple of times. It cracks me up every time. Stalker starts to kill off characters, And then we get this kind of he like stalks one of the actresses. I want to say that played who's in part 7. Yeah, I think part 7. He kidnaps her and like locks her in his basement and explains to her like his why he is the way he is, which is that he would be to be punished as a child. His dad would lock him in the basement and make him watch horror movies, which is not a punishment in my opinion, but whatever. So yep. So horror movies kept him going, and he's upset that nobody ever answered his fan mail, and that is why he is apparently killing people. 3 out of 5 for story. So I acting. With so many famous horror actors in this movie, the acting was really meh. Like, you would have thought that it would have been a lot more, I don't know, involved, a lot like more to it, but no, it was pretty meh. They all kind of just did it. Yeah. But all the actors, with the exception of Dee Wallace and the gal who plays Kelsey, were in fact characters in other Friday the 13th movies. Dee Wallace, not. Kelsey, not. Which is weird because they're the main characters, and this movie's about a guy killing people because he's a fan of Friday the 13th. But whatever. So for acting, 2.5. Look, The Mask is really low budget, kind of generic. The special effects are not really existent. There's some blood effects. That's really about it. Music is original, so 2.5. Oh, sorry. Look is a 2. Sorry. Music, they had some original music, 2.5. Nothing really special, but nothing that was really off. Atmosphere. Okay, my notes for atmosphere just says go on rant. All right, so before I go on my rant, I'm just going to give you the score. It's a 2. 2 out of 5. This movie, conceptually, is what, as a horror movie fan, I always wanted, right? It is meta. It is all these great actors, all these really good actors doing horror. It's got great references. Let me look at the name real quick. I think it's Vincent.
1 hour later.
It's got Vincent DiSanti in it. Vincent DiSanti is the guy who made Don't Hike in the Woods. He's trying to make a unofficial Nightmare on Elm Street sequel about Heather Langenkamp's son from New Nightmare. And Don't Hunt in the Woods was so good, right? So it's got that. You get to see my personal favorite, Jason Voorhees, not Kane Hodder, although he is in this. C.J. Graham, who was he was the first just big, beefy, invincible Jason, right? You get to see him just go, get his moment to shine. So everything about this movie sounds awesome. And it wasn't. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was the acting, if it was the special effects that were non-existent, if it was that the story was kind of basic. I don't know what it was, but something about this movie just, I don't know. And it's really, 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 really upsetting to me because I thought this was going to be a fantastic film. I thought that this was going to be the slasher just because it's so great. And even there's the story behind it, right? This movie is made by Voorhees Studios, which is owned by Deborah Voorhees, the actress from Friday the 13th Part 5, who's the grandma that dies in the opening. And it was just what more could you ask for? in a meta slasher film. And somehow this movie just completely missed for me. And I don't get it. I don't understand why it just... I don't get it. And I'm at a loss for words on this. I don't get it. I don't understand why this movie just was so disappointing, and I don't understand. No offense to Deborah Voorhees for her attempt. She definitely called in everybody she possibly could, and it was just, yeah, the only person that I can't believe wasn't in this was Tom Matthews, who played Tommy Jarvis in Part 7. He's probably the most famous Tommy Jarvis. He was also in Don't Hike Alone. He's the only one that wasn't in it. Maybe he knew beforehand how people were gonna feel about this. I don't know, but yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm so upset. So 2 on Atmosphere, and finally Creep. This gets a 1 on Creep because, again, everything about it was just a swing and a miss everywhere. There's an unexplored plot line about Kelsey's janitor at her self-defense studio maybe stalking her that they never get into. Dee Wallace is married to Ron Sloan in this. I don't know if they actually are married in real life or not, but in the movie they're married. And Ron Sloan, or Dee wakes up and they are missing jewelry in their house, and they start looking around for it. And while they're looking around for it, she finds a lock of her hair has been cut off and left in the sink while she was sleeping. And then Ron Sloan proceeds to act like she's crazy for being worried about a stalker in their house. And then there's this weird plot line about the stalker framing her for murdering Deborah 15 years ago, but she looks exactly the same 15 years ago as she does today, which also makes no sense, and it's clearly photoshopped video evidence, and it's just, yeah. So I was very excited about this Friday the 13th video that I was making for you all, and the movie I watched for it, and I was just overall very disappointed. And so, if you are a fan of Friday the 13th, give it a watch. Otherwise, it gets a 2.1 out of 5 skulls, and I don't recommend it. Okay, thanks, bye.